to do something a bit different today. We're going to paint this rose with our fingers, and I found this nice rose. Looking through a selection of roses, this one had nice beautiful tones to it in the middle, and it's just curling up and expanding outside at the perimeter. So I thought this was a perfect example of using the shade brush, which you can find in the dialog here. This is the shade brush, and I'll show you how it works. See that? Nice. Let's clear the color palette. I was actually going through a trial run yesterday, and you can see the tones I've selected. With 100%, and we're going to use the shade brush. So first thing first, which is the contrast of the dark background is ideal for this drawing. So we'll start off by picking a general color, the dark color here. Let's pick this, and then, as you know, you would undo it until you see that box picking up that color, the background, and there you are. So you got now it will really hopefully stand out. But before we do that, I decided that something popped into my mind, and we really need to also use the line brush to make sure that we don't pick out a lot of the greens while we're using the shade. So as you can see, this rose is quite pink and white. So let's pick this color. Let's close in. Let's pick this color and use that as the basis of the rose foundation. So we're going to go back to line as well. Line, 100%. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Yep. So let's put that. Let's go all the way around. Don't worry about getting it right, just do that for now. About getting the tones here, we're not getting the tones. We're basically defining the whole rose, so it's not sitting on a dark green background. And you'll see what I'm trying to do is when I've finished. Okay. Do that. Just go over it quickly. You're laying down the foundation for the rose. So I'm using my Samsung phone, and with using my fingers. Fingers, a beautiful way of drawing as well, which not many people do, and they think all of this should be done with an Apple Pen and Procreate. They think all digital drawing is done like that. You're quite mistaken. There's so many ways of doing digital. You just need to find the one that appeals to you. Don't listen to the crowd. Crowd will always gravitate to what the majority are doing, only because that's all they know, right? Majority. They're not going to know some other nice ways of doing things. So there you are. So lay down the color, color, and now we're going to use the shade brush to build up these colors. So we save it, Okay. And just going to check on my paintings just quickly and pick something. Draw. Let's see. Let me pick something. Sorry, I just wanted to check something quickly. But anyway. So now we'll go straight to the shade brush, and the setting is really dependent on the brush size setting is really dependent on how big these so how big this color is. Right, so I think I'm going to go one down. So I'm going to show you how to create quickly the center. I'm working from the center outwards. So I'm going to show you, I'm picking this color here, and then I'm just going over it ever so gently. Can you see it? There. That's all you need to do. We're going to go here again, pick this color, use the color picker, pick it, and then just, you'll see what I'm doing here. Okay. Again, pick that color, and then just go over like a pencil. You're building up the tones. And if you don't know what tones are, it's a good time to check out some of my other videos that have speaks a lot about tones. Now we need to go down a bit maybe. Let's see what that, yep, that's showing a bit more definition. So always, oops, there, didn't pick that color. Okay, can see what happens, see. Looks like, because the rose has a darker near the petals at the base, I'm just keeping my drawing to that region for now. I'm not going like doing the whole of this red region unless it fits the size of the brush. And that is only to pick out the tone. You notice that this tone, oh, I already did that. So here you can see how I'm able to create a dark tone going to a lighter tone. You see, by going over it several times and picking out the darker region. Let me show you here as well. Because we're at a smaller, we go towards the edge, which is a little darker, and we're able to, okay, can you see that? Yeah, that is what you're looking for. All right, so we go all the way around. Yeah, I haven't done this bit here. This one here. Then all right. So we have to work quite a way forward. Don't evaluate the drawing just yet. Keep working on those tones really quickly. to build those edges, and you'll see how it looks like. You'll be surprised. And then I get that tone. In case you don't know how to select the color picker properly, you see that when I pick the color picker, look how many tones we've covered. That's the good thing about drawing, is that there's so many tones, and to replicate all of them, it's so hard. But the color picker makes it so much easier to pick those tones. And then it gives you such a deep appreciation of what's involved in a drawing. And you're actually doing it through practice, right? Nothing more. You're now defining this through practice. So I'm just outlining, because I've got at 2%, just outlining, and I'll show you how we increase the brush size. Let's see where we are now. Okay, it's coming together. Keep at it. Keep at it. Keep midway above, so you can pick these color tones. So always set it to midway. Just above the midway, so I can use the color picker to pick out the reference image tones. That's all I'm doing. This larger area, I'm going to increase the brush size, but I don't want to change the brush size every time I'm drawing. So I'm going through with the thinner, defining the edges. That's all I'm doing. Defining the edges that needed. Okay, because it's just smaller here. You can see where you need to work on. Here, notice here there's a slight gradient, and to achieve that gradient, I'm using the color picker, going over it, and then towards that region edge, you can see how so go over it to get a deeper tone. Once you achieve that several times, it works like a pencil, not many times. You see what I'm saying? Yep. So now go with this red. Because this region is small, I can still keep using the smaller brush instead of keep switching it back and forth, right? Here. So, and then I'm going to turn to a larger brush for the larger regions. Since I'm zoomed in, look how far I'm zoomed in. Very. define that edge, then just complete that edge. Okay. Okay, let's see what we're doing. Yeah, it's sort of coming out nicely, isn't it? From the center. And then you could switch. Excuse me. Excuse me. So we could even, since we're working, defining the center, this smaller region, we can work on areas that need even a smaller brush, like here. Okay, define that area. So let's define the areas. Okay. You can see that darker region here. Let's make that more defined. Okay, it's coming together, isn't it? So now let's pick up a bigger brush, like I said, and let's just fill the rest of the colors as best as we could. Right? Remember, I always do drawings in passes. So remember to have it up there. Always make drawings with several passes. I never do it from start to finish in one go. Just put the body of the color there. Right? Don't worry about doing everything perfectly. Can you see what I'm doing? Just picking those colors that are necessary, and then just using the larger brush size, 10%. See? And then we can get close enough, but you need to cover the areas first. So let's see if that makes a difference. Just go through it quickly. All right, color picker. So basically, finger on the color picker, the region I'm going to color, block coloring this is, and you'll find plenty of ways of block coloring when you how to block color. Many videos on this subject. Just want to tell you that block coloring is unique. Is actually unique to Paintology. So you won't find this in any other apps. Alright, so here, defining those edges very quickly. Nothing too spectacular, just putting out the colors, the regional colors, and we can see what that looks like. Alright, it's not there yet, but we'll get there. If you find that you're getting a little stuck, it could be that it's taking up a lot of memory. I would save it and then go back to my paintings. And then just pick out the drawing again. Alright. Alright, that will clear some of the memories. Now you've seen that I've done it like this. We could go all the way around like that, or you could try something a little different. I'm thinking that these colors are better rendered because there's so much of it using the line brush. Okay, so I'm going to use the line brush 10% and pick these colors and just go over it. Let's see what happens. Remember, you're not going to learn anything if you don't experiment. If you think something is done in a fixed way, then you're just going to stick to the fixed way. You're not going to learn anything. So it's all about experimenting. So I'm just going and filling these colors with the line. Then we can come back to it. You don't have to be exact with the perimeters here. See this region here? That's like the edge that we need to work with, and then pick out the colors that slowly fade from that edge. Okay, so here. And don't worry about the edges, has to be perfectly matched to that. The beauty of this is that you're not drawing a portrait where it has to be matched. Otherwise, the person will not look like the actual drawing, yeah? But in nature like this, that's why I love drawing landscapes. You can go a little bit, and that's why previous great masters love landscapes, because they could be a little experimental with it. And you'll find that most good artists have always done landscapes. See that color there? That division between the adjacent color, it's what gives it life, gives it a presence. So I think we've done a full rotation, perhaps. We can check. Zoom out. No, we haven't. Actually, we have. It's just that we've got a bigger brush size, yeah? Okay, so we're here. And the focal point is obviously this area here. So we're going to try and, this is where we control the tools. The tools do not control us. That's why we invent the tools, not to control us, but we control the tools. And the reason why we can make great drawings if you just use one brush. People rush to digital and say this brush ain't doing it, and they haven't allowed themselves time to master the techniques of the brush. And so they go one after one, tool after another. So they basically want everything to be done by the app. That's an unfortunate way of thinking, and that's what separates people who are good. Okay, so let's over the ones who are just beginning. Okay. So you may be thinking, well, why didn't I do the line brush again before? Well, I'm going to show you what I don't show people here. Experimentation. Okay, you want to see a good artist who produces great drawing one after another, but they go through mistakes. Look, I haven't done a flower before, but I'm going to pull it off. I'll show you how I'm going to pull it off by continuously experimenting with the brushes I have. Continuously. I'm not switching that one tool should somehow magically produce my drawing. I don't think like that. One brush is going to just laying down. I just want to see what it appears. What do these colors look like? With the shade, remember, is a little bit muted in its colors, and maybe it needs the line brush. I don't know, so I'm just doing it, testing, probing. I'm not going towards the edges, I'm just trying to fill up these colors that make up some of the body in the inner petals. All right. See that, depending where your finger is, you're going to pick up that color. Then you're going to pick up the color that. So the way this works, I'm going to show you, is that select the color picker now. Now you notice the cursor is there, but that's not the color it's picking. It's actually going to pick the color that your finger is going to land on the reference image. Got it? Let me show you again. This one, that's not the color. That's just where the cursor position is. If I put my finger on that white, that's what the color it assumes. See? There? You just have to sort of play with it. Don't get frustrated if it doesn't work first time. Change your thinking to how it operates. Don't let the tools dictate how you work. You dictate how you should work. Okay. Let's see how it's coming out. It's so much better, isn't it? That line, the shift from the shade to the line made quite a bit of difference. And then this is what I'm thinking based on a bit of my previous experience is I keep working on that using the line brush, which happens to work quite well because the contrast between the adjacent and the line brush adjacent is higher than a shade. A shade you have to really work a lot to get the same effect, and it works obviously in some cases, but in this case I'm thinking that the line brush is the key to this drawing. So let me fill in as much as I could of the colors that I'm picking out with the color picker. Yeah, just go, just no drawing experience, just picking out the colors. Right, and you can always go over it if you made a mistake. We zoom in. Then here, see that? Nice. And then you pick another color, it will be lighter. Pick another color, get adjacent to it, it'll be lighter. That's how the tonal values change. Look, I'm going to show you. I'm guaranteed these tones are different each time I pick the next. Look how it's getting whiter. And then I'm going to zoom out and you can see for yourself. Look how the tone has changed. That when you zoom out, this is what the eyes will see. See that? So let's zoom out. Okay, keep going at it. Keep going. You know, I like to work with speed. I mean, I don't want to spend so many hours on one specific drawing. I make loads of drawings, sometimes 3, 4 in one go. And I also happen to do photorealistic drawings. I actually drew an apple yesterday using block coloring and also using some of my freehand drawing skills towards the end to blend. You can't just do block coloring and expect the drawing to be good. I mean, it'll be choppy, but if you go microscopically into the drawing, like hyperrealism is what that's all about, is pixel by pixel, then yeah, of course. But I think you lose your creativity when you do that. So I'm going to show you. So you see how we're picking out the colors. The thing with the brush, the shade brush, is that we needed to really work on it. I mean, eventually you'll get there, but for the purpose of doing this quickly and showing you really the block coloring technique, it makes sense for me to do it this way so you can see. Just keep working on it. Just keep picking out color picker. Just keep doing that. Picking out color picker. And then when you go to the adjacent, you know the colors change. That's why I'm picking the color picker very frequently. Here, there's a slight banding here going on, and you'll see it. See how it changes. And then when we zoom out, we'll be able to see where look at that color, how it's changed. Yeah. I'm not too worried about that. I can come back to it later. So here, it's getting better, isn't it? So now, here is something which I've explained to people again and again, time and time again. If you're learning to do art beginning, never your first impressions will be, how do I get from A to B? You're thinking you have no experience, no background of taking A to B. And I'll make it easier for you. To get from A to B, you do it in stages. And these stages are fundamental from getting A to B. If you go from, if you go to all the many steps, let's say there are 10 many steps to getting to B at the final result, then you won't get to 3 if you're not arrived at 2. Keep that in mind. It's very fundamental to making good drawing, and it's the reason why many people don't understand that and not able to draw like I'm showing you, because they do not have any concept of that. I'm not going to get to step 8 without having done step 7. So here, I don't know how many steps we've done, maybe like 3, 4 steps. Now you can immediately see this gives you the guide for the next step. I can see areas around the rows that I need to tackle, and that will take me to the next step. So a very simple process which many artists will not talk about because they do it intuitively, but I want to put it into practice about that too, so you can see it, like it can be broken down, distilled into information that you will understand. So just keep going through that. Yeah. Don't worry about getting the exact. I'm just putting down these tones that I originally put down with the shade brush, and then just going over it again. And if you decide halfway that you want to change something, go ahead and do it. There is no right, wrong way. This is how I learn, and you should always use this as a basis for your learning. Learning process involves experimenting, doing trial and error, making mistakes. I don't call it mistakes, I call it waking up the mind. So you see what I did that I wouldn't typically do is I actually decided I'm going to change my method of drawing. Did I do that right? How does that? Notice that I'm following my own. That's funny, isn't it? I was following my own. So, just keep building and building. make sure you're in the top half. You're going to get that pink. Going to pick out that pink that defines the roses. Get the color picker, pick the tones, and you'll see there is a slight color on that. Okay, look, it's not better. You may not see it, but since I've worked on it, I'm already seeing what I need to do on the next step. And you may think this is a step I'm taking. You could be right. It's because I have got to that step, and therefore I'm able to see clearly what needs to be done, tackled. I'm glad I moved to the line brush. I think otherwise shade, I think I could have done it, but I feel based on my experience of using shade, it would have taken me a lot longer. I would have eventually got there, but I don't know about you, but I'd like to. So I would really like people to express their, comment, to really give me some ideas on what they're thinking and what they want, because this is probably unique to what you've done before, and you may have a lot of questions naturally. Majority of people make decisions based on what they see, but not by doing. So I don't want you to make the same mistake. Please do it, and then you'll have much better idea of asking the right questions. Using the fingers, okay? So look how it's building up, isn't it? You can see it's nicely building up from the details. So now I can see I need to address this bit here, this bit, because this looks like it's not done. So let's head for that. And we're going to just go there, pick out the tones. Then pick out these tones. Then pick out the adjacent tones. Let's dab, dab, dab now. Here, can you see here? This, let's switch to a bigger brush, 10%, and let's do, because we don't want to spend all the time doing that, yeah? Okay, let's take it down a bit, 5%. You see how I'm switching? Because there's a very subtle tones here that you may not see. So just restrict your area. It's very subtle tones. This is where you get really good at appreciating tones. It's by doing this. This activity you're doing may seem like, oh, it's not really drawing, but it is drawing. It is what drawing is all about. It's learning before you can leap. Most people won't think that drawing is about leaping. That's because they only see the artist's end work and none of the if you go through an artist's life, you'll be pretty bored and see that that person has gone through developing the skills that seem so menial, but the final result is what people usually, so it's a bit misleading because you don't get to see all the hard work that's gone behind it. I mean, it's not hard work if you enjoy it. Why is it hard, right? Okay, see, it's coming together now. Now you can see I've done the top bit and I can just finish this bit. So let's look at it closely. What is it? I can see that we need to maybe pick out this brush and go follow the lines of the petal. Okay, and then pick the next region, follow the lines of the petal, and then pick this region and follow the lines of the petal, right? That's all it is, the subtle. And then pick this region and look at that, follows the lines of the petal, defining that edge, and you'll see it, how it defines that edge. So let's, I'm going to find a way of diffusing this area. So let's take it down. I think we're all right. Take that. Okay. See how do you see how choppy that was? So we're gonna keep adding these adjacent multi-dimensional areas close up to give it depth and not like a choppy block of color. So now change the tool. I'm using the tool in a slightly different manner. I'm using that. Okay. See that here. I'll put that down. And then here, put that down. And then I'll show you how to merge this. But let's see where we are. Yeah, so better because we use the shade. Can you see how the petals on the lower side are not quite what we had in mind with the rest of the picture? So we're just gonna just do this, yeah? Pick the tones, leave it halfway, and just go over it rapidly. Don't worry about the shape, just look for the tones in the midway position and just you're picking out the tones that are in the reference image. And at 5%, now you don't even have to think, to be honest with you. Well, as long as you keep your strokes minimal, you're picking out the tones in that area. And you could start dabbing to build up those areas, which is an effective technique. So you don't do sweeping strokes that look odd. You'll understand these terms as you get more into it. I'm using a dab technique. This is an excellent way of drawing as well when the subject is very complex, but when you have regions that take on a particular shape, then use, by all means, use the strokes. But here I'm just dabbing to build up the tones that are changing in this, right? So I can contain the tone flow across these rows. I think I'm inventing some new words here. All right. So you've seen many people, many digital artists, they will be focused around a central application. Even though I'm using Paintology, it's rare that I'm telling you tools. I'm showing you techniques. This is what art is all about, techniques. I'm not showing you how to, you need this tool for that, this tool for that. I'm showing you techniques. I haven't changed to any tools yet, except the line brush from brush shade to line. And I haven't even got to the blending stage yet. So this is block coloring, which you'll find many examples on the YouTube channel, Paintology YouTube channel. So you see I'm using a dab, so I can at least get some variations of tones. You're wondering what it looks like, and same here. Let's see what it looks like. All right, we've removed some of that. Have you seen how the dab action has actually led to a tonal flow that's going on, which is what we want? And you may be looking, now that we've reached this stage, you may be looking, okay, so let's save this. Sorry, I'm going to save this. And the stages I was telling you about, this could be like 6, 7 steps, and step 8 is really based on step 7 that I'm here. So it's immediately telling me, okay, you're getting there, but you need to get some more doing this dab action. You're doing so well. And just keep doing it in the areas that you haven't done it yet. But you can see how it's building up, right? Dab action. So the finger is an ideal way to do the dab. Dab basically means I'm putting my fingers down and just like anything else, I'm just going down, dabbing into this drawing, not making sweeping drawing action, just dabbing into like a paint, like I would on a paint. If I had my fingers on paint, real paint that is. All right, so continue this dab action and just fill it in. You'll get the variations of the tones that you pick up when your finger lands. This is something I'm learning all the time as well. Don't think that I've done this 100 times. I've not. In fact, the last time I painted a rose was with the shade brush using a stylus, no finger, and I was using a different technique altogether. So I'm learning with you. And when you think, well, how can you be so good at this? It's because I'm applying my knowledge that I've learned on this. And that's how I continue to refine my techniques of art. All about techniques. Notice I haven't talked about tools. You know, if you go to a digital YouTuber, they're going to say, pick this tool, do this, pick this blending, do this, create another layer, do this. Yes, yeah, when I want to create graphics, maybe. But if I'm drawing, this is the pleasure of drawing. And that's what drawing should be. They should classify drawing as in traditional, as we've been doing in traditional. Not, it shouldn't be called drawing in the digital if you're using tools. It's not really drawing, is it? It's really just using instruments. All right, so you can see that's taking on shape, and don't worry about the bottom edge just because it's not refined. That's not my focus. My focus is this dabbing action is working really nicely. So I'm going to keep dabbing again in this area. Dab, refine this to get these colors. See these pink colors? This is a very crude way of building up tones, but it's an excellent form of learning. But like I said, you're not creating artwork by doing it this way. You'll see the final artwork will really take on shape when we go to step 10 or whatever number of steps you've decided to use to complete. Well, you don't determine how many steps you're going to do. It's determined by how far you go into the drawing. All right, let's see. Yes, not bad. And then I can see here, see, on this stage, because we reached this stage, we know what the next step is. Top left here, is we need to continue this exciting dab action. That's really working. Pick out the tones, even though they don't look any variation of tones, you'll be surprised with the depth of tones there. You saw the picture before. Now we're doing some slight tonal variations of this, which eyes can't easily spot, but nevertheless, you're building up these tones and you'll see that you have some tonal range there, isn't it? That was a block choppy petal, and now it's taken on some tonal value. Now I can see, okay, next stage here, there's too much choppiness there, and we'll continue the dab action we're using. So to get close to that tone, it's very interesting because as I draw, I'm learning something all the time. If you don't feel you're learning something all the time, you're not thinking, or you're not doing something right, or you're refusing to let go of something, some old bad habit. My mind is pretty much open to possibilities, and I never rule out anything, and I don't go with a fixed mindset that I can't do something for some reason, right? All right, let's see that area now. So much better, isn't it? So improved. And now, you know, this bit that's been nagging you and nagging me as well. Look at that. So we're going to go here. So we got that. No, we're not, actually. We're going to pick out the color tones here and then just, okay. And all it is, very easy. Same thing, dab dab. Very quick. You remember, we're not getting true accuracy. Dab dab. And then I can guarantee that area we will have addressed nicely. Yes, look at that. Very light area. And we know there's no light area, so just keep it in the middle so you can still select the base color. Okay, let's see where we are. Lovely. Now you're thinking what to do next. Well, this is where technique comes in. And how are we going to do that? Well, we could do what this is. You're probably wondering what this density setting is. This is where we can apply the density settings to merge or blend the regions. And I'm going to show you really quickly. Let's take this example here. Now we're going to be more or less on our side. We're going to move away from the reference image. So let's select this region and let's take the density down 30%. Let's see what happens. Let's keep doing similar brush strokes. And let's take it down even more. Just notice some blending, yeah? Let's see that. Let's take that red. Look at that. It's like blending, isn't it? On that red. I'm still on the red. Look how I blended it. Let's take that red, stretch it. Let's take that pink. See what happens. It looks blended, doesn't it? Wonderful. Let's see. There. So we're going to just continue blending like this. So again, pick the colors, blend, and adjust this density settings. And don't stick to the one same color. Pick another color. This one, the white, blend it. Pick that dark color, the darker pink, blend. Now pick this white, blend. You can hardly see it, right? Because that's what it should be. It should be blending, isn't it? Let's go over it. Let's see. I'm not going to spend too long on this. I just want to show you how the tools work for us. Not the other way around. We're not dependent on tools like most digital artists. You need this tool to do that. Yeah. So you see that here. I do the same thing. Blending. It's all about techniques. Look, we've merged quite a bit, and so quickly, isn't it? Rapid time. We could take it down for the smaller areas, like here. Then I've still got the density at 20% approximately. Just blending those edges that look sharp. Picking colors and then taking it to the other regions. This is actually something I sort of figured out a short while ago. You're thinking, God, yes, how's that possible, you know? But you learn something all the time. Believe me, I never say to myself, I'm good at this. I don't need to learn anything more. Sorry. It takes the pleasure out of learning anything new. So we got that blended. You see how that's working? And then keep doing it here. So you can start off with the darker and work your magic that way, right? And then you can mix it up by taking it back, the lighter region, and then work to the next region. See how I'm doing that? Just get a feel for what's going on. Then work the darker region. Remember there are petals, so there's some dark, sharp areas which you don't want to blend, obviously. Alright, so that you can go as far as you want to in this. Dark, sorry, I didn't pick the dark. And then just blend that. Alright, keep working your way down. You get an idea of what to do afterwards, and you'll get better at this as you do it. So blending technique seems to work quite well. So can you imagine if you were in the digital tools and you're blending every little facet, picking a tool, just impossible, I think. You've probably seen quite a few of the finger drawings I've been doing lately, including sunsets. That looks fairly realistic, actually. I was quite surprised by that. And I haven't actually done finger for a long time. I just started recently. And it seems fun. Why not, you know? It seems so much fun to do fingers, using the fingers. I'm so used to stylus because I've been demonstrating with, there, so blending. And then let's go here. Notice I'm following the directional approach as well. The direction, what I mean is, look at these lines, they're going down at an angle, And my strokes, let's try and mimic that as well, keeping let's see how we're looking. Better, isn't it? So much better. You can see we need to do some tidying up here. So don't just use the one same color. Try and see, I got the same color, but now I'm gonna do something with the opposite color. Yeah, can you see it? So I pick one color and then I pick another, the opposite adjacent color, and blend it back towards it again. If you want to know more, just hit me up in the comments section. This is an area that we need to blend, right? So let's get close in here. So brown, blend it to the right. I can hardly see it, isn't it? Now we need to know if that's a petal. Yeah, so we don't need to blend that, okay? But we can blend this region, the brown, into that, okay? The brown. And we just did it so quickly. Let's get the pink so we can blend that. So the reason is that I didn't want to touch this is that, look, defines an edge. You don't want to do anything that defines an edge, because then the rose is going to lose its shape, isn't it? All right. So you can blend this. So always go back to the reference image when you can, yeah. So here the same thing. All right. Then here, look, that's a defined edge, and I left that out. So I'm gonna try and take that up. All right. And now we can go back down wherever we were. Then that will show you how to blend. This being cheeky here, but look, I'm gonna blend this pink to the neighboring areas. Look how easy it is. Can you imagine doing this with a tools? Oh, we know. Nicely done, isn't it? Very well. Getting shape and form, and we can probably. I mean, you can keep working at it. You know, there's no harm in you working at it. You might even want to add some. You might want to define these edges a bit more. And then work your way. I haven't done all of it, but work your way up this density setting, and you now know why this density setting comes in. And you're thinking, because I don't normally always use the density settings, but in this case, it's worked out really well. just a question of experimenting. And now you can see here, there's still a bit of blending work that needs to be done. Right, just get the blending complete. Take that down a bit more, I think. And just always there's a blended area, so we're gonna try and blend it. There's a blended region here. I can completely remove these regions. It's a blended region here. The pink, I think, needs to go more into that space. Then let's see this one. There's that petal line. This line, which we can take and define that edge. Okay, so we pick that color, just showing you how it's done, and then pick that. Then it goes all the way here. Then it has a slight variation in hue there. Because if you're defining this area, then it looks like it's the part of the petal, isn't it? Okay, then it would give more realism to the whole drawing. Yep. So you can say, well, that's good, but probably need to do some blending here. So let's go back 20%. Pick this color. Oops, what happened there? Let's see what we have here. Oh, interesting. That's part of the petal. So let's see if we can create that. So you see, I'm just experimenting. I hope you get a chance to experiment as well. It's all about experimentation. Then you blend it there. Just showing you the blending techniques here. See that? That's a part of a petal. You can see that's a part of a petal. The one I'm looking at the bottom, and then we can refine this just by blending it and following the direction of the blend here. Then we can use different color as well, darker color, and then increase that a bit more. increase the dark tone. Oops. See, that's where the density comes in. Alright. You can always try it manually. Take it down manually, the darkness. Let's see if we've managed to pull that off. Well, not quite, because look, that region's the white. So let's pull that white bit off. Let's see if we can manage to pull that off. Let's see. Yes, probably better. So I just want to get rid of this black I've got there. I don't know why. Can just do that. Black's got rid of, and there you are, isn't it? It's like, what could be better? Well, we could refine this here. So let's go take it up, take that down, and you can see the petals more pronounced in that region here. Like, for example, it's clearly refined, isn't it? So take it down, then take up the density, so you feel comfortable with the density. Okay, see that? And then here, same thing. While we're there, and we're still adjusting the density, not too harsh. That's the whole idea. We're not creating something harsh. So that's why I kept the density down. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Yes, looking like there is. Now we can go through that, reduce the, so you see how the density setting is now being, see, I'm learning while I'm teaching you, but hopefully we're doing this together. See, these are regions that we need to keep. So we're going to take that down. Even though the eye can't see it, it knows the perimeter. It knows the perimeter that, okay, this is a bit too. So these edges define, like here, I am pretty sure there are edges there, you see, there. So we can go here, define this, take it down. Look at that. These, because of the tonal, let's take it darker a bit. Oops, that's too harsh. So you have the ability to tone it down with that. Let's see what happens. And then we have this. This looks like there's another petal, but there in reality it isn't. So we're going to do our blending that we've been doing. Oops. All right, take it back. There's so many tricks you can do. And now what we can do is, I think we're okay at the bottom. You can probably get away. But here we do what we did. Look at these, that definition here. We don't have that definition. So we're going to pick that color and then take that down. It's quite fun, isn't it? Really. Take it all the way down. So it could go up there. See? Then there. Right, let's see what happens. Let's see what it looks like. Just by that gives us clear edge definition, isn't it? And when now the focus, now everything like flows a little bit. Well, not quite, but look, there's another area that we can define. Oops. So we take the density down, right, by adding these strokes. Right. Look at that. Look, see? Clear definition that we want to mark out. So we're here, and you can see other areas. Now, you wouldn't know what to do if you didn't arrive at this juncture, right? So I'm going to just take that down, basically. Nothing really interesting going on. Okay, so no, I think I'd like to finish here, but you can see where I'm going with this. And I hope you had a bit of fun like I did. Let's sign off here. Paintology. This is when my fingers are a little bit awkward. Paintology, there it is. I hope you had fun and I hope you learned something. I'd love to hear from you. Put in comments. And of course, keep me motivated, subscribe, and come back again to watch more videos and learn something. Digital drawing is not about tools. I just want to let you know it's not about tools, and I've shown you it's developing techniques like this. All right, so I hope to see you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.